I'm a computer man. I'm the Macintosh man with the virus scan. Moving your files all across the land. Some Photoshop filters in After Dark. Get your Microsoft Office, express your quark. Millions of colors with a VRAM chip. How about a system crash that'll make you flip? I'm a computer man. I'm saying Windows 95 is plug and pray. If it's fonts you want, you gotta go to Macway. Log right on as my personal guest. You'll have Macintosh software on your desk. Send me an email with your request. If it's hardware you want, baby, I'm the best.
Good evening, K-Squid listeners. Good evening, Santa Cruz, Monterey, Central Coast, and beyond. My name is Luigi Opito, owner-operator of Pleasure Point Computers right by the beach here in beautiful Santa Cruz, California. And for the next hour, I am your tour guide into a world of wonder, magic, information, and a lot of frustration. That's right, we're talking about the internet and the world of computing. I am your computer man. Welcome to one of the most helpful, friendly tech counters I hope you've ever visited. I'd like to welcome you to your local radio station, your local KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid 90.7 FM, also broadcasting online at KSQT Prunedale at 89.5 and 89.7 FM, and always online at ksqd.org, as well as our amazing app that we now have in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Woohoo! Super cool. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday night. Welcome to your local radio station. Oh, boy, I'm so stoked to be with you tonight. We have a lot of stuff going over, as we usually say. Could always have an hour-long show every day with the amount of stuff that's coming out in the computer world, but we're going to cut it down to this hour and squeeze about an hour and 45 minutes worth of information into that hour. That's right. So at any point you say to yourself, wow, this guy's talking a little bit quick. How am I supposed to get all these steps down? Well, you can jump over to our amazing website, ksqd.org, and under there we have our listening tab, which has a 2-week audio archive under it. And from there you can listen to any of our shows, like the amazing Talk of the Bay like we just had, or maybe some of the music shows you maybe catch when you might be asleep, or maybe you don't get up and you might want to hear something. That's always available there at ksqd.org, including the Computer Man Show, which you can listen to and get those steps down if you need to. You can always reach me by email too, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. But of course, while you're at the KSQD website, of course, we have to do the most amazing thing of the possible, my favorite part of it, which is the red donate button at the very top. That's right. We are a volunteer-based radio station. We're not beholden to anybody else. We are beholden to you, our listeners. So we want you to hit that button, hit it all the time, and maybe make it even recurring for you if you could. And we always sincerely thank you for it. We wouldn't be here any other way. We're not beholden to any kind of corporate sponsorship. I don't have to talk about Amazon a certain way. I don't have to talk about Dell or Apple or Windows or any of these companies, because we are beholden to you and not to any corporate sponsorship. So that's the magic of it. And so we're going to get into it here in just a moment. Of course, if you can reach out to me after the show, my email again, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. During the show, you got to be part of the magic. 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD. See how that spells that? Pretty cool. And we're going to be here for the next hour. But what exactly is this Computer Man Show that you just stumbled across? We are all about, well, computers, but most importantly, updates, new devices, testimonials, scams, and our call-ins. What is going on with your bench? What is going on with your equipment? What is going on with your super expensive thing that is not doing the thing that it says it's doing on the box? That's what we're going to be talking about here. And we are here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. And of course, our phone number again, 831-900-5773, or online. Actually, we have our on-air at ksqd.org as well. I'm going to fire that up right now. Doot, doot, doot. And it's on. All right. But most importantly right now, we are in the middle of our what do we call it? The Octo Push pledge drive. It's super important. We are here, and again, we're only here because of you. So I'm joined here by Nikki. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, it's an honor.
And we're going to be talking a little bit about the amazing things that KSQD can do for you, as you already know, but what maybe you can do for us.
Well, we're hoping that you'll call in and support this incredible program, because you have your own private tech guru who's going to help you out, and you don't have to go stand in line somewhere and wrestle and make appointments, and you can just call. And I think it's a beautiful thing. But beyond that, a lot of times you don't even know what to ask. And Luigi's going to help us by telling us all about the new things and the problems before we even have the problem.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying you're putting a baby gate at the top of the stairs. You might slip on that first stair, but you won't go all the way down. And so we like to have that here at the show. And of course, at KSQD, this amazing vessel for driving so much incredible information, and also just all these awesome volunteers that come in. The people that make up the station are just second to none, and I'm honored to be a part of it. I feel so humbled every time I come in here and get to be on the air with all of you. But right now, it's most important. As I always say, we can't push the electrons through the board. I will volunteer my heart out, but it will not push electrons through the board to allow this stuff to power up. We need money. unfortunately. And that's how it works. But we are a volunteer-based radio station. We don't ask for anybody else for any other corporate sponsorship or anything. We are here for you. So we are asking you to jump online to ksqd.org, hit that secure donate button, which we actually get all the percentages. We don't have to pay that 3% processing fee. It all comes to us. Or if you want to talk to one of our amazing people here at the station at 831-900-5773, and we would be happy to take that pledge as well. If you have a question tonight, got to go through the pledge gauntlet. So we'd love to hear from you tonight, 831-900-5773. Are we doing any matches right now?
I think we do have a match, although I don't remember what it
no worries
is.
at all.
But we'll find that out,
Great.
and we'll be right back with it.
Awesome.
But I
Awesome.
want to say one more thing.
Sure.
We are thrifty. We are a thrifty
Yes.
station. It's
Yes.
not like we're blowing it.
No.
And we exist on $20,000 a month, and we have towers to keep up. We have equipment that breaks down. In fact, as I've been here this afternoon, they've taken one machine out and brought in another. I mean,
It happens.
this stuff doesn't happen for free,
Right.
even though we have over 100 volunteers.
Right.
There's a lot of electronics that go along with it, and we only have 3 half-time people, staff people, but that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But this place is doing really well and very transparent, and they use the money wisely.
Yeah, we've been here, like I was just listening to Howard, almost 6 years now, which is just incredible. So but that's because of you, and we want it to keep it going. You are the reason out there, listener. You are the reason that KSQD is so awesome. Besides the fact that we have all these amazing volunteers that come in, we are here and want to be amazing for you. So show us your support. Show us what KSQD means to you by jumping online at ksqd.org and hitting that beautiful candy-like red donate button. Hit it as many times as you can and make it reoccurring, so we kind of know what's coming in every month, and it helps us do our little budget and stuff. But we're going to get to the show, and then we'll hit you up in just a little bit.
I can't
Nikki.
wait.
All right. Thanks so much for being here. All right, so what do we got today? We usually start off the show with scams because I hate them. And you're using this beloved tech that I love for nefarious things. So let's talk about some scams right now. First thing I want to talk about real quick is a fake Costco website that popped up that actually is gone now. Thank goodness. But there was COSTSSCO.com, costco.com. And if you just flub your fingers a little bit, you might actually go to Costco. If you do a Costco search, it was showing up in Google searches. And it was a completely 100% nefarious website. And the reason why I want to talk about it, even though it's gone, I want to talk about just the fact that even we're doing Google searches, we think Google's a safe place. Let's do a search for, pet groomers. Let's do a search for used car stuff. Let's do a search for whatever we're doing. Sometimes you may get at the very top of your Google search weirdness. And if you have been on Google for any amount of time, you've seen the Google search morph its way into different things. Right now, there's a whole AI thing, if you have it enabled, where you'll ask something and it comes up with this AI response. And all the AI responses right now are the computer, the AI, reading existing articles, reading existing things, reading existing documentation, and then compiling that and giving you an answer. The idea with that is that it's saving you a click. You don't have to go to another website. You ask your question, the AI spits out the answer right there, and now you're not clicking on that next website to get to that answer. You've got your answer. What that's starting to do now is some of the smaller websites that actually put out a lot of this information, that go to the grassroots level and write these things, they're not writing as much now because they're not getting the ad clicks, or at least if they're writing it, they're not getting the clicks enough, and their ad costs are going down, or their revenue is going down because people aren't actually traveling to the websites. The AI is extrapolating the data, and we're reading from the AI and not actually going on the clicks. So why is that a bad thing? One of the things I want to just kind of point out, it's very trivial, but it's an idea of how AI could lead us down into some incorrect answers. Not necessarily like it's bad, it's going to ruin the world or something, but at the same time, everything is with a grain of salt. There was a very simple idea. There was this ghost town in Las Vegas, and it was a tourist site. And the ghost town was, let's say it was 35 miles outside of Las Vegas. It would take you 40 minutes to get there. And everyone talked about this ghost town, Well, about 3 or 4 years ago, a road changed. There was a storm or something happened, washed out this road, and they had to actually create a new road, which not only shaved 5 minutes off the time, but changed the route completely. If you asked AI, or if you asked ChatGPT, or if you asked Google, hey, how long does it take to get from Las Vegas to this ghost town? It would tell you it took that old time of 40 minutes because it was extrapolating from the old websites that had the old map data, that had the old stuff. When in actuality, it actually only takes about maybe 30 minutes now because of the new road. There's some new traffic lights, and actually there's more of a streamlined way to get there. Is this data wrong? Well, not really. Is it incorrect? Kind of. And that's what we're going to start seeing. If the data that AI is pulling might not be exactly what it is currently now, but it's going to be generally pretty good. And if you're asking it to write you something like a little speech about something, it's great for that. If you're asking it for specific answers about something, take it with a grain of salt and then just do a quick, it only takes a second to do a Google search, just do a quick Google search and double check that still is correct. Now, 10 minutes or a 5-minute drive, who cares? But if you were getting the map data from ChatGPT, it might be wrong, it might be incorrect, and you might get to the road, it might be blocked off or something. And again, not really a big deal. You have other pathways to go down. It's more of just an idea of like, hey, the AI is giving you an answer, but where is that answer coming from? And if you just, again, take a grain of salt with all that, it will help you in your searches, and especially not going to some type of fake website like fakecostco.com or something. Also, another thing I wanted to mention that at Google is because of the ad blocking that's been going on lately, Google has been stepping up a lot of their ad revenue pushes. I don't know if you've noticed, if you've been doing a Google search, you might have to scroll down a little bit further to get to the actual website that isn't a sponsored link or a sponsored ad or a sponsor or an ad at the very top. We have to go almost halfway down the page on the Google website to get to a web page that's not sponsored by Google. Now, that also is something that kind of bothers me a little bit because I watch my end users, I watch my clients, I watch the people that I take care of at my shop. I watch them do a Google search and just click that top link. And that's what happens. That's what we've always been doing. The top link is the Google link. That's the link you want to go. You're on the second page of a Google search, you must not be searching very well. That type of thing. But now, with ad revenue, with the way that Google is actually extrapolating their data, and with AI, you're looking about halfway down the page before you get to something. So next time you do a search and you're looking on Google, just take a second and look what you're seeing on that very first page. And I'm talking about the whole screen size first page. See if that has any ads, see if that has any sponsor stuff, and see if the AI answer is kind of what you're looking for. A lot of times it's fine. A lot of times it's pretty much correct and it gets you where you need to go. But if it doesn't, scroll down a little bit and you'll actually see your old Google searches, and don't click any of the sponsor stuff. Google is making enough money.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So,
Hi.
I've thought of this so many times because it's just getting annoying, all these things at the top. So I don't like the idea that I would go to one of those sponsored things or the AI instead of the original business.
Yes.
And so it's right. I'm correct in thinking that if I'm helping the little business if I go to their site.
Yes, if the little business is paying for ad space on Google and you do a search for the ad space, and as far as I know how SEO works, and I could be wrong, I'd love to get corrected, but if that is the way that it works, and you scroll down and you click on the actual website, that company does not owe Google anything for that search. If you click on the sponsored link at the top,
right,
then they would, because they've paid to be put at the top or something. But yes. And it's the same with Yelp. It's the same with any of the searches. If you're doing Yahoo search, all of them work the same way. So if you don't want to give the search company any money, take an extra second and scroll a little bit down, and you'll feel a little better about it.
Yay.
Yeah,
Okay.
one of those good things. So let's see what else we got. Also, because we got some other things to talk about, I'm not going to get too much into other scams. If you're curious about learning a little bit more about the different things that are plaguing the world of electronics out there, cyber101.com is a website that I found about these two dudes on the East Coast. They one guy was a media guy, one guy was a tech guy, and they came together to make a little online school that teaches you about different things in the cybersecurity world. Everything from phishing, passwords, multi-factor authentication, ransomware, device security, network security, data security, privacy, all these things you can actually, if you're curious about one of those specific things, you can actually find out and go to that exact item, watch a video about it, take a little course on it, and then you can actually, there's no certifications, but you can graduate from the little thing and learn about the different parts and pieces of cybersecurity. There's no ads, there's no catch, there's no data mining. That was the big thing. It's just like an old school website where you go to, you look at the data, and you leave, and you haven't left anything behind. So I really like that. Cyber101.com. And they're actually going to start doing this phishing simulation, which is kind of cool. So there's a couple things that kind of test you and kind of get you through some other stuff just to get you into the cybersecurity world and let you know about it. So kind of cool. All right, let's talk about, I guess the other scam I really want to talk about was, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but it's been confirmed again. There's a Facebook partner that they admitted smartphone microphones listen to people talk to serve better ads. So I've used my Hummingbird example quite a few times. If you're a listener, you've heard it a couple times. I was digging through a junk drawer in my kitchen, and I pulled out a random little suction cup Hummingbird feeder that I got from someone or whatever. I'm not a bird person. I don't look at birds. I mean, I like birds. Birds are nice. They're out there. there, but I'm not someone who seeks out birds and goes bird watching. I don't talk about birds in my house. It's birds are out there and I'm doing whatever I'm doing. So I pulled this little hummingbird thing out and I started asking my partner, hey, this is a hummingbird feeder. Did you bring this home? I wonder what kind of, food hummingbirds like. I wonder if we could use this. Could we put sugar water in it? Okay, well, we'll figure it out later. Put it back in the drawer, close the drawer. Not 12 hours later, my partner's phone, which was sitting on the counter, is inundated with hummingbird feeder ads, hummingbird feeder food, different birding things, birding outdoor stuff, all these ads. And you sit there, putting my tinfoil hat on, going, if I've never done a search for any type of bird, and we were talking, we didn't do any searches to see what kind of food hummingbirds eat or anything. We were just talking like, in the 90s. And, we got back and forth. And to see all this stuff pop up, I'm like, this makes me crazy. This makes me feel like it's listening all the time. Now, when you have these apps, they ask you for microphone access on your phone. They ask you for camera access on your phone. It's all because you can do voice to text. It's all you can do these other things. But in the terms of service, which you can go to tosdr.org, termsofservice.didn'tread.org, and actually see the Facebook terms of service, see the Instagram terms of service, and see what you're saying okay to, the important parts. They can turn on the camera, they can turn on the microphone whenever they want. And one of the things, if you have the app up and open or running, or it's running in the background, or even installed on your phone, it could turn the microphone on and listen. And before, it was like, I'm just crazy. I think it did this, but this is pretty definitive. I'm pretty sure it did this. And now, I have paper proof that says that CMG, this company, revealed an active listening software that unsurprisingly uses a form of digital artificial intelligence to capture real-time intent data by listening to our conversations. Now, granted, Sony tried to come up with a patent that would show an ad on the television set, and in order for the ad to go away, you would have to literally stand up, put your arms in the air, and say McDonald's. And then that would make the ad go away, and you have to sit back down. Granted, that patent has been it's been kind of buried a little bit, but it also went live, and everyone found out about it and got really angry. So I don't think anything happened of it. It might, at least not yet. But there are crazy things to get ads into your devices, and so one of these things was it actually is this thing, and it's like, we know you're thinking, is this even legal? And it is legal for phones and devices to listen to you when a new app download or update prompts for consumers for a multi-page term of use agreement. Somewhere in that fine print, active listening is often included. So,
you could have that because you have so many apps. You could have that with several apps. Absolutely, yes.
And if you're on an iPhone, you can go down in your settings and scroll down per app and look at each app and see what permissions there are. You can also go into your microphone, and under the microphone, you can look at all the different applications based on microphone, which applications have access to your microphone and which ones don't.
And so you can get rid of them by just turning it off?
You can just turn it off, yeah. And then when you open up the app, sometimes they're so pushy, they'll say, hey, we need microphone access in order to work. And you're like, no, you don't. And you say no, and the app closes. And so you're like, you want to use me? You got to say okay. And you're like, jerks. And it's all just jerky stuff. But one thing that is also just that's kind of frustrating about the phones is that you do that very first time. And you might not even remember that you had the app. Maybe you download the app for a friend or something like that. And you're, yes, I just need to see this one thing. Okay, I see the thing. Okay, and you close the app. Now that app has complete global okayance to turn on your microphone, turn on cameras, turn on whatever it needs to turn on, and maybe you forgot about it. So it's good to go through your preferences. And again, it's out there and it's existed for a long time. This is not something that's new, not something like, oh my gosh, my phone is now out to get me. Your phone has always been out to get you. It's not your phone, not your friend. So
can it do it through photographs? Or, I mean, like if you have in your photo feed photos of something, does it see things?
Yes, because at this point now, if you were on, did you have an iPhone or an Android phone?
iPhone.
An iPhone. So if you do your iPhone and you go to the search and you type in plant, it'll show you all sorts of photos you've taken of plants. If you type in dog, it'll show you all sorts of photos of dogs. So it has some level of knowing that. And actually with iOS 18 coming out, with Apple Intelligence coming out, it's going to be a lot more. Because right now you can say plant and it'll, or green plant, and it will show you some pictures of green plants, and there'll be some other plants that are in there. But you say, show me the picture of my friend holding the green plant when he was wearing that black t-shirt that I really like. And it was about maybe 3 or 4 months ago. You'll be able to type that into Apple Intelligence. It will then concise and know what you're asking and search through your photos and find that photo that has your friend wearing the device. So we're getting into some weird stuff. It's gonna be some good, but all I can see, or everything I question about this stuff, any new technology, you just go, how will it be weaponized against us? And it's just such a sad, it's sad. It makes me sad because I love all this tech. I love the cool things we can do with self-driving this or whatever. I love the ideas of all this stuff. But man, the weaponization of it instantly, that's the only thing that can come to mind, unfortunately. But off of that positive topic, let's get back to our amazing pledge drive here at the positive, super awesome KSQD Santa Cruz, here at 90.7 FM and always online at ksqd.org, or maybe you're listening to us on your app. I'm here with Nikki, who's been hanging out with me during the show, which is super cool. And we are in the middle of our, I would say, what was it?
Octopush.
Octopush. I love that. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, Octopush. Yes, I think it's another creature we're probably related to. K-squid,
love it.
Octopush.
That's so cool.
I think this is fantastic that we have a program here on KSQD, and we have so many unique programs. And this one is particularly unique. I mean, where I can sit here, I'm here to help pitch, but I'm asking questions that I've been curious about for a long time. Like, these are things I say to my friends, gee, I think this thing's listening to me, and we all go, yeah. Well, here, okay, I can ask the question. You can ask the question.
Yes, you can.
You can email. You can call. You can personally email it to you at the station.
That's right.
And ask your questions, which is really valuable because knowing how long it takes to get an appointment, to drive over the hill if you've got an Apple device and get some genius supposedly to take care of you, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And from 6 to 7 p.m. here on Tuesday nights here at KSQD and ksqd.org, it is free to you, to all of our listeners. I am happy to be here with everybody. Oh, amazing. Howard has joined us here in the studio.
He's
well,
coming.
we love you, Luigi, and you do it
coming.
all as a volunteer. I think that needs to be emphasized, too. All of our programmers are volunteering.
That's
and
right.
taking their time and their expertise and sharing it with you. We have Dr. Dawn coming on Thursday giving medical information. And Nikki, I'm just thinking of all the research you've done. You're in the Smithsonian even. I mean, that's, we've got people like that.
Library of Congress.
Library of Congress, I'm sorry.
They're brothers and sisters or something.
That's so cool. What are you in the Library of Congress for, may I ask?
All of the interviews, like the earthquake interviews that we played earlier that were done in 1989, they're all part of the archive that's gone to that is in the process of going to the Library of Congress.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
Man, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, tomorrow, I'm just thinking of some of the upcoming shows I was just preparing here. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we have Talk of the Bay. PK Haddis is a great local reporter, and he's going to be interviewing the outgoing and the incoming directors of the Soquel Water District. A very important issue, and even if you don't live in Soquel, it affects all of us: drought, climate change, water purity, all those things. And that's followed by From the Bookshelf, Gary Shapiro interviewing Eric Nelson, who is one of our local programmers, a volunteer, a Grateful Dead expert, but much more than that. He's also an award-winning documentarian, has worked with Werner Herzog. He's got a new movie out, documentary about John Lennon and Yoko Ono on the Mike Douglas show in the 1970s.
Amazing, dude.
Amazing local talent we have.
Wow.
And they all volunteer, like Luigi, coming in and sharing their expertise with you. And you're the beneficiary of that, all of our listeners. So you're the community that hears it, gets, picks and chooses. If you don't like John and Yoko, check out the Computer Man. If you don't like the Computer Man, check out Dr. Dawn. If you don't like Dr. Dawn, hear about earthquakes.
That's right.
Yeah, or all the above. Your contribution makes it possible. The support of listeners collectively makes it all possible. 831-900-5773. I want to jump up and answer the phone when you call 831-900-5773, or I'll track down your web pledge, safe and secure, at ksqd.org.
Well, I think in that same way that we don't always know the questions to ask, like of Luigi, we don't always know what we want to hear in terms of music and, politics and programming and spoken word. And I really dislike going to the same places all the time and getting the things that they know I like. And then they're just feeding me with what I know I like.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about radio. That's what I love about community radio is people are curating new things. It's like new experiences for the listener, and it's definitely worth your pledge to keep that going.
It really is. I start off every show saying that I wouldn't have it any other way. I want to be beholden to you and not any other corporate sponsorship or any of these other things. I mean, the amount of billions of dollars of companies that I am talking smack about every week because they're doing things to your machine machines that they shouldn't probably be doing. This is a great vessel to allow all of us to have this freedom of expression and speech and to come out and share it with you, and especially things that are happening locally or in your neighborhood. We are here for you through the thick and the thin, and we want to keep doing that. And we can only do that with your support at 831-900-5773 or securely online at ksqd.org. Yeah.
Great.
Cool. Well, let's get on with it. We got some more cool stuff going on here in the world of, I already talked smack about Facebook. We don't need to talk about the iPhone stuff. Oh, one thing that I did want to talk about, we've mentioned this a couple times. I saw another thing and someone else brought it up again, and it's kind of like a bad rumor that's floating around or something. There is basically saying that there's a dead internet theory. Have you heard of this dead internet theory? Okay, so with AI, our friend AI, it's evidently killing the internet, and it kind of goes off the first thing I was talking about, how we get a lot of our information from, or AI gets its information by reading news articles and then extrapolating that data and putting it into something for us when we ask. But there was an article that came out on a website called Windows Central. It's kind of like 9 to 5 Mac. It's a website that tech people will read about computer news and things like that. And this is a Windows-based one. And they had an article that had a headline that said 57% of all content on the web is AI generated. And you're going, wait a minute, like the internet's been around for, I don't know, years, and then we go through and you're going to say 57% of it was AI generated because how long has AI been out? You're like, wait a minute, 57% of the internet is kind of large. I haven't seen it all, and but it's big. How can that be possible? And I started thinking about the time that AI has been out, and everyone's gone to a website. If you do a search for something and you go to one of those bogus websites that takes your exact search and puts it in the middle of a sentence and it has a whole bunch of paragraphs about something else, you're like, okay, this website is just a clickbait thing, and you go out of it because it's just nonsense. But to have it be 57%, so start digging back on that a little bit, and that headline was a misquote of a Forbes article. That article said 57% of all text-based content on the web was AI generated. I saw that I was like, that also doesn't seem right. That seems like a lot. So I started digging on that, and I found that was from another article that said that was a misquote of another study saying 57% of all text-based translations on the web are machine generated.
That's a pretty big difference.
That is a huge, huge difference. So I've seen more and more about this dead internet theory, saying that the internet is dying because there's not original content, there's not people content, there's nothing that's coming out that's real. It's all this AI garbage, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse, and the internet is dying. Well, that's where it's coming from. It's not really like that. And I've done text-based translations. I don't translate Spanish myself. I can't do that. Who does that? Speaking people do that. I'm not Spanish. I speak tech. I can't do that stuff. I'm just learning Italian, and I'm getting in trouble for it. So not getting in trouble, but I should have known it long ago. That's the trouble. And so this is one of those things I see and I go, wait a minute. And so I wanted to open that up and just let everybody know, if you see something about the dead internet theory, that's what it's coming from, because it's just a misquote of a misquote of a misquote, and it's basically saying that instead of this, all the content, it's not just text-based content, it's the translations. So yes, text-based translations are coming about, and it's just because that's the way the internet works. Okay.
And it goes back to fact-checking.
Yes.
That's what you do when you're a serious scholar, reporter, or whatever.
That's right.
You have to fact-check.
That's right. And with Google now, just a few seconds. Just a moment or two. I always tell people, if they get an email that's something crazy, and it has a link on it, don't go to the link. We've all had that giant yellow banner at the top of an app saying you haven't paid, or you haven't logged in correctly, or something's not right. Just go to the app. Don't click on the link. Don't go to the website like that. Go open up a new page, type www.chase.com, wellsfargo.com, wherever you're going, and travel that way. Don't click on the link inside the website, or inside the email, excuse me. It takes that extra 2 seconds, and it could save you literally days of anguish or frustration or theft. So just because the internet's weird. All right, let's see what else we got. I'd actually like to get into a bunch of these email questions. I've gotten the packet to under 15 pages of email questions. If you want to email me, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. Of course, I'll write you back. But if your question's awesome and we throw it on the air, I'm going to put it on the air here, and we'll talk about it. And it looks like about a month later. That's what we've been rolling through. So right now we are at, let's see, the next question we had going was... And we got 32. Good. So the next question was, are we doing halftime breaks right now for any of the stuff, or any of our under, or are we just kind of going straight through? Seems like we are. We'll just do
We're
that.
just going straight through.
Love it. More the computer man for you. All right. So my PC cannot complete POST. POST stands for Power On Self Test. That's that beep when you first turn on a computer. It goes beep. That means that as soon as you hear that beep, before you see anything on the screen, the computer has already done a huge amount of system checks, voltage checks, pathway checks, all the things to make sure that the computer can turn on. If you don't hear that beep, you don't have a post beep, the power on self test, meaning the computer's not going to turn on. So my PC cannot complete post, which is that beep, every time I restart it. So I just built this this workstation with crazy specs. They gave me all the specs here. I mean, this is a $3,000 machine. So once I restarted the machine, it's stuck at a B7 or B9 error code. And I did some researches about RAM or USB devices. However, I felt it's weird when I leave it on for an hour and then turn it on. It works perfectly. But afterwards, when I restart it, it doesn't. I'm not sure the root cause, if it's a motherboard or not. Also, it's laggy after I use it for, the CPU goes to about 20 or 30%. I've seen no threats. I've done malware scans. I've disabled the sysmain, SFC scan now, which is the system file checker. Everything I can find on the internet. I don't know what the root cause is. It's been a week. I'm tired of this. What's going on? Okay. First of all, I heard in your specs here, because I didn't read them all, you have 4 32 gig sticks of memory. Congratulations. Most programs, as far as I know, I checked this about a year ago or so. I think most programs are only written to maybe handle 32. Some of them might do 64 at this point. For the most part, a lot of programs weren't even written for anything more than 16. So you can have 128, 256 gigs of RAM in there, sure, but it's like having a car that can do 250 miles an hour, but there's a big piece of wood underneath the gas pedal. And when you stomp on that gas pedal, it only does 20. And that's what we're doing right now. So you have this capability of holding all this RAM, but everything else that uses it is only using about an eighth of it, a quarter of it. So first thing I saw was that you have a ton of sticks of memory and you're getting weird power voltage things. You turn it on, it doesn't restart, there's a blue screen error. First thing I would do is remove all this RAM. Keep it to one stick in the main A1 slot. And by that, having that one stick of RAM, you're not going to be running through 90 gigs of 90 plus gigs of memory and having one bad memory allocation table throw the entire thing for a loop, because that's most likely what's happening. There is either a memory allocation table that is not being signed properly within the RAM, or you're getting an IRQ fault because something is going down one of those pathways and it's having a problem. Granted, it might be something else, but this is where I would start with this. 4 sticks of memory in a desktop, if it comes to me and it's not booting correctly, all of them get removed. We put one in and we try it. If we still have the weird thing, we take that one stick out, we put another stick into that same slot, try again. If we have a problem with all those sticks in the same slot, we move to A2 and start doing the entire test over again. Incredibly monotonous, but it will get you through a scientific method, and you will find out if that's the issue. You'll have to go through all 4 sticks of RAM, probably all 4 slots, but you'll find that all of a sudden you'll have a stable boot. You'll be able to restart it, the machine will be stable. And you might have a bad stick of memory, you might have a bad memory slot. With these random erroneous fixes, we very rarely have these blue screens of death anymore. They're either one or two things: memory allocation table fault, one of 3 things: memory allocation table fault, something going on in the actual kernel of the operating system, or we have what's called an IRQ fault. And the IRQ faults are basically like the lanes of a freeway. We have 14 lanes on the freeway, and 2 cars are trying to not only use the same lane, but occupy the same space in the same lane, like over the top of each other. Like if you were driving by and you were go back in time a minute, there'd be another car in that space, most likely, where you were just existing. And that's the idea of the IRQ fault. 2 places go into the same memory allocation table written spot. Boop, they don't like it. Everything just stops. Blue screen. So with this, I would take out the one stick. Sometimes the memory isn't correctly seated, and that would start you along your process of diagnosis. That's where we would start in the shop. But if it starts with one stick, I would start actually going into the BIOS and checking out your voltages, and then we can talk about that later because that's really boring on the RAM. So anyway, so 1 stick of memory. A lot of sticks of memory in a desktop can really screw things up. Okay, let's get on to another one. Google Wi-Fi not working after switching my Xfinity modem to bridge mode. Okay, dude, I totally did this the other day, and this is really frustrating. When you get a router, especially when you get a new router that's on the side of maybe your Comcast stuff, or maybe the side of your Spectrum, or if you're using any of these companies that give you a router, right? A lot of times the router inside of that machine, or the router that you get from that box, is not the best. You are paying for a service. You're paying for Comcast. You're paying for Xfinity. Xfinity is Comcast. You're paying for Spectrum. You're paying for the service. In order for that company to give you service, you've got to get a translation matrix to get the service into your home. That's your box. That's your router. That's your modem. Do you think that Xfinity or Spectrum or any of these companies are going to spend the money to get a high quality box? No. They're going to spend exactly the amount of money that they need to make sure that box has the speeds that you're paying for, but not going to have some high-level processor or some large array. It's going to do exactly what it says it's supposed to do, but on the very light side because they're buying them and handing them to you as part of a service. Granted, you're paying a rental fee a lot of times with it too, but still, they're giving you something that's not the best. So a lot of times you want to add a router onto that. It's like having one of those TV VCR combo boxes at home that, you watch a little 13-inch TV and you're watching, Hook on VHS or something, but you're not going to invite all your friends over to watch the big game on it. It works, but it just barely works. It does what it's supposed to do. So if you get a router and put it onto your modem, there's some settings that you have to mess with and you have to change some things. If this person, what they did was they went into their modem and they turned on something called bridge mode. Bridge mode is literally that. It takes from the wall, and instead of going through all the swamp of the modem or the router and then kicking it back on the other side, it literally builds a bridge over the swamp and allows the signal to directly pass through the modem directly into the router. Not doing any type of routing, not doing any type of level 2, level 3, level 4 sorting, any type of stuff that the internet uses to allow the packets to pass through. It does not. It does nothing. So it just sits there and allows everything to pass through. That's what you want to do when you have a router set up with your modem, because you don't want the modem routing and setting up all the things inside the actual network, and then have the router then go, okay, I've got this signal, now I'm going to start routing too. It just makes this weird swirly soup of packets. You want the bridge so everything just kind of goes right through it. So this person did that, and their Google Wi-Fi didn't work. And I actually had that happen at a job about 2 weeks ago. And what happened was I had more than one machine plugged in. There's 4 ports in the back of this modem. When you set up bridge mode and you restart the modem, bridge mode is going to look at whatever ports are plugged in. Of course, the modem is already very stupid. Very stupid. Computers are stupid. If you listen to the show, you know how stupid computers are. A modem is even dumber. It's way dumber. And so with this system, what we do is we turn that off, and if you have anything plugged into the ports, it's going to go, okay, you're a live port, you're a live port, you're a live port. I'm going to give you, whoever turns on first is going to get the packets. So this person, what they did was they had their Google Wi-Fi set up, but they also realized that they had something else plugged in that wasn't even powered, but it was plugged in. So it was terminated in the port, and it saw that. Because of that, the device saw 2 items, didn't know what to bridge to, didn't pass through the internet, and just stopped. So the person set up their Google Wi-Fi, and nothing happened. They couldn't get internet. They couldn't get even to the setup. They couldn't even get it to go. So literally the solution was to turn everything off, unplug all the cables, make sure only the Google Wi-Fi was plugged in, turn it on, and walk away for 5 minutes. And then it spoke. So it's, again, computers are about the dumbest things around. Like so incredible. If you put it one place and you don't say it's in that place, it won't see it. It won't work. And so with this, exactly that same way. We had a pathway that was truncated. We had a pathway that was actually set up, and the pathway went to nothing. But yet the modem actually saw it and went and said, "I'm not going to work." We had to turn off everything and reboot. Kind of like we have to do in life: turn off, reboot, restart, and it should be a little better. And while we're here, we are in our Octopush. I wrote the word down. I love it. And we are here with Howard and Nikki. I'm so stoked to be here. So stoked to be here at the station, but also stoked to be with you too.
Right. We also got Bobby Bishop and Luis Salazar, 2 of our fine music programmers in the other room, waiting to answer your call. Bobby Bishop just took a call from Marianne, who was very generous. I want to ask Marianne to do us a favor and call us right back if she's listening right now. Her favorite programs include The Computer Man, also Charlie Lang, Joe Truscott, some of our music programmers, blues, soul, opera, classical, and jazz. She's got big ears, clearly.
Right.
Yeah. Marianne, this is Howard Feldstein, the program director here at K-Squid. We need to get a couple more pieces of information from you. If you could give us a call back, we'd love it. 831-900-5773. or ksqd.org. Same applies to everybody out there listening.
That's right.
Make your contribution. Follow the example of Marianne and give us a call at 831-900-5773.
Personalized service. This is what I like. We're speaking to our people directly.
Right. Love it.
Call me.
It's so cool though, because like this is a real community radio station for our community. Like you'll go out and I'll see people. I was at Costco the other day and I was talking with somebody because somebody was at the computer thing, and I mentioned, so I started talking about computers, and someone came up and they said they recognized my voice from the radio station. That was a trip.
I wonder why.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was so. I'd never had anything like that had ever happened. So
That's great.
It was pretty neat, and they said they enjoyed the show. So that was also good. But we'd love to hear from you tonight at 831-900-5773, or if you don't feel like jumping on the phone, get online at ksqd.org and give a secure pledge tonight. We would love to hear from you, and we sincerely enjoy and hope to hear from you tonight. Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
How do you keep up with all the Is it my imagination, or are things changing a lot more quickly right now than ever? Or is it just me?
It is not you. They're saying that we are innovating 3 times as fast as the normal person can keep up. So if you're into a technology...
I'm not a normal person. So,
if you're into anything, if you're into any of these techs at all, if you're like, oh, I'm kind of like the new cameras that come out, or a drone thing, or some type of technology, if you're into it and you are really into it, you basically can only catch up on the 3rd iteration of every time it comes out. Every 3rd iteration of it, because everything happens so fast. Yes, we are flying. AI, ChatGPT, was only like a year and a half ago.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's been out a little while longer, but the mainstream, when we all started talking about it, was only about a year and a half ago, and it's going quick. So yeah, it's the world is fast, and all this tech stuff is really, really fast, but it's also really fragile. And anyone who's unplugged something from their network or restarted something by accident, all of a sudden everything stops. We take it for granted. We take all this stuff for so much for granted because we just turn on and there's our information. We can do a search and stuff, but when it stops, what then? Everyone goes, ugh! And even with some of our best tech friends, that can get this stuff working for us, when it doesn't work, sometimes they don't even know where to start. And I've been finding a lot of people who are very tech-minded, very tech-centric, can get everything to install and function and work. But if something doesn't do exactly what it's supposed to do, I find a lot of people don't have the foundation of even where to start. And I go to my calls and my jobs and things, and I think about, I'm in a weird demographic because I'm an elder millennial. So all high school is all analog. I didn't have any internet in high school or any of that kind of stuff. And Windows 95 was like the coolest thing when it was just coming out, and it was nothing. And so then did most of my internet stuff was when I was starting college. And so I didn't have all this tech stuff when I was younger. I had Dewey Decimal System. I went to the library. I had the encyclopedia, and I did all my reports and all that stuff. But now everything is all this digitalness, and there's so many people like, oh, they're so good with the computers and so good with this, and then something breaks and they're like, they didn't even know where to start. And I don't know if there's anybody to take my place when I want to retire and leave this industry. There's not a lot of people coming and stepping up to step into the tech industry, into this world. So it's a very interesting time to see like my generation of people and the younger generation of people where tech is going, because right now it's just a bunch of users, and it's not a lot of technicians, and not a lot of people who really want to get into the nitty gritty of why the thing works the way that it does, which is I'm just such a nerd for. So, and also why I know all this stuff. I mean, I couldn't afford any of this stuff when I was younger. I just got broken computers and broken things, and then I would get stuff out of the trash and try to make that work. And so I think that's part of the reason why I know how this stuff works a little more than others, or something. And I've completely forgotten the original question, so it's all good.
No, I'm happy to know. I'm not happy to know that it's all going so fast, but it is kind of a relief to know that it's going so fast. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. It
gives you kind of this whirlwind feeling in your chest when you're trying to like watch some stuff and you go, oh, that's a new tech. Oh, that has that new tech. Oh, and then that one's coming by, and it just kind of whizzes by you, and all of a sudden the new phone's coming out. You're like, didn't they just have a new phone? Wasn't there just a new MacBook didn't I just see that? No, that was a year ago. Okay, wow. So Apple's even started talking about how they're not going to start. They're going to stop coming out with devices every year. They're going to kind of step that back a little bit. But that's probably because this last 2 years or so, they've had a pretty large dip in people buying new stuff. Everyone already has an iPhone that works. Everyone already has a MacBook that works. And with their planned obsolescence, they can only go so far before people really start catching on. I mean, that brand new MacBook that I just bought, at the end of last year, it already has an expiration date. It knows when it's going to be dead. And that's probably going to be maybe 6 years. It's gross. It's gross. It's gross for the planet. It's gross for my wallet. It's gross for my heart. It's not great, the planned obsolescence stuff. But we're going through it, I guess. I don't know why I went off on that either, but technology can sometimes be a little frustrating, and it's just, especially when I want the new stuff, but I don't need to get rid of my old stuff. So a lot of e-waste and things. I don't know. Let's that was a random tangent. Excuse me. Sorry. So let's see what else we've got here in our. That's a pursuit. Oh, okay. Here we go. I actually dealt with somebody just the other day. Another question here. It says, I dropped a hard drive. When you drop a hard drive on its, if you drop it depending on where it drops, if you drop it on a corner, a hard drive can receive up to 200 Gs of force because it's so tightly packed it in there. And if it hits a hard surface, all that force gets translated throughout the entire case. And it's not just something like just falling and dropping. Because there's no movement inside, it can really mess something up, even just a simple fall. But this person says, the said hard drive was in my pants pocket when it fell on a hard floor. I read everywhere that the data in the hard drive is not recoverable unless done by a professional, but the point is I don't want to recover the data. I just want to use the hard drive. So can I format the hard drive and will it work like the drop never happened? And I can't answer that without seeing it. Every single hard drive is going to have its own SMART status, SMART, and that stands for Smart Monitoring and Reporting Technology. I can never remember that one. But every hard drive has a little teeny operating system that's running, and it'll watch for voltages, it'll watch for speeds, how long it takes the hard drive to spin up, how long it takes the arm to pull out, how much the magnetism is actually on the platter, and how long it took the data to come off, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then it actually will go against its baselines and then give you a score of how healthy the hard drive is. And from that, you can tell how healthy the hard drive is. And with a drop like that, it has a G sensor on it. It will know that it's been dropped. It'll know that it had an impact of some type. But the smart status will then give you an idea if that hard drive is still working properly, if it's starting up properly, if it's seeking properly. So I bet if you plug it in, it's probably going to go, it's probably just going to click and do what it's not supposed to do. But I would plug it in and try. And when I asked them to plug it in and try, and they wrote me back, they said, I checked the hard drive and it's broken. Hard drive won't even turn on. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, and then they asked them they should put a solid state drive in it. They did. Their machine's booting 10 times as fast as it was, and everyone's happy except for Mr. Hard Drive. So, still got about another 8 minutes here left in the show. If you have any questions or you'd like to call in and make a pledge, 831-900-5773. I'd love to hear from you tonight. We're just going to keep on. We have a few more email questions, and we're going to kind of leave the hour with a pledge as Bobby B comes in with Be in the Night. Another one here says, my mom keeps getting my photos on her phone. Woohoo. That could be bad. Say, how do I make it stop? I think it might be because her account is on my phone because it once was hers. Okay, people. So one Apple ID per person first. And I know if you were younger and then you turned 18 or something, then that might not be. But especially if you get a new phone, if you get a phone that's somebody else's, factory reset it, remove the person's account. Even if they are a family member, you don't know what you're syncing. All sorts of crazy stuff could be syncing with it, and including this is photos. So if we have, I went and asked them if this was a Google phone or an iPhone, and it sounds like it was a Google phone. They were giving me kind of a runaround, but it sounded like it was an Android phone. And most likely, your mom's Google account is still logged into the settings. You can go to the settings and go to accounts, and then under backup, and you'll see her name will be there probably alongside yours. Then under there, you'll see a little thing that says manage accounts. See which one it is your mother's account. Delete it. By doing that, it will remove any type of uploads. It'll remove any type of linking from that. There may be something in her email, depending on if it was her phone. It might need to go out and just confirm that you are okay to remove that. Just like if you were to steal the phone and try to remove the person's name, they would have to say it's okay to make sure that it actually wasn't stolen, that it was a legitimate transaction. And but that's most likely it. Just sign into the Google account. I bet that's it underneath the settings. And if you're just signed into something. So if you go into that under the accounts, under the settings, you should see it. Remove her. Woohoo! And it's your phone. This one made me upset. I didn't like this. This one says, IT put BitLocker on my personal laptop. Okay, so if you have a personal machine, don't give it to your company's IT. I know that sometimes it's really hard to do, but they should be supplying you with something. There's no reason for you to have your personal information or your personal machine go to your company's IT. Now, if you have a job and they're saying, hey, you're going to lose your job, otherwise go, okay, here's my computer, no problem. But try not to do that because of this exact reason. The person says that their IT isn't able to get me the key. BitLocker is an encryption key that has to do with your files. So if you have your files and you have BitLocker turned on and you shut your computer off and you close the lid and I turn on and I steal that laptop and I take the hard drive out and I plug it into my computer, as soon as I plug it in, as soon as it's plugged in, that we will it'll show up on site, but it won't be able to get to any of the actual files without the BitLocker key. You have to put that key in. So this person took their personal laptop to their IT at their work then installed BitLocker and said, no, we're not going to give you the key. And you're like, okay, so if you start the computer with your own password, you still have access to all your stuff, but BitLocker then means that they most likely have their Microsoft account on it. It just gets weird. So I said I logged into my personal laptop a while ago, my work email, and received a company laptop, so I no longer had to use mine. So this, at first they started with their own, and then they had the company laptop. A month or so passed, I had to turn on my personal laptop again, but it's now asking me for a BitLocker recovery key, which means that the operating system had a flub. It needs to do a recovery, but in order to get to the files, in order to get to the hard drive, you need the BitLocker recovery key. Now, if you don't need any of the files in that computer, who cares? The BitLocker just makes it so I can't pull your files out and see your data and go, haha, I've got all your data. I'm going to look at all your files and all your company secrets. I now have them all. I have your W-9s. I have your W-2s. I have everything. It wipes it. So if you have your machine, if you were just to wipe your hard drive, it would also take the BitLocker key. You'd have to reinstall your operating system and you'd be back to zero, but no harm, no foul. If you want to get onto that machine and get into your files, you do need that BitLocker key, but it depends on what you want to do. So they said when I logged into my Microsoft account at work email, I can see my device listed under the Devices tab, but I'm not able to click the View BitLocker key button since it says I don't have permission. My IT says they can't help me with personal devices, even though I've shared my screenshots showing my device on the page for the work account. Are they just brushing me off, or should I actually be able to get that recovery key? And so, and they said the key is not on my personal Microsoft account, which is my first question. And the device and the button key only display for the work Microsoft account, and they won't let me view it. Well, those guys are jerks. That is your computer with their key, and obviously they see that your machine is being used, but probably used it for at least one company file, so therefore their policy most likely, especially with their insurance, because a lot of these companies have hacking insurance and cybersecurity insurance, which means that IT has to keep up a certain stack of things, including every file that goes onto any computer has to be on a BitLock computer. So therefore, you're now on a BitLock computer. They can't give you the key because then they unlocks all the stuff. They don't know what you're doing with that computer. So, hey, in order to get on that, you have to wipe the drive. That just has to be. So they said they're going to reply to the ticket, push harder for IT to have them give me the key. I think you should take your computer to them, have them remove the BitLocker key, and then remove any of their data, and then give you back the computer without the company data on it. I doubt that would happen, but that's what I would do on this account. Or I would say, hey, we'll pull all your data off. Here's all your data on a flash drive. We've also given your machine a fresh operating system, which the IT can do in literally like an hour, and off you go. And it's like a couple clicks, and they just put it off on the side and let the machine do it on the table. So I don't know. One of the last things here before we go back to our pledge drive here, this one actually I felt pretty proud of because this person was pretty stoked. They wanted to recover a 14-year-old MPEG video file. It says, is there a tool you have that I can use to try to recover a 14-year-old MPEG video file? I recently found the video of my engagement, and I wanted to show it to my wife and my kids. But I can't view it. I can see the audio, I can hear the audio, but I can't see the video. It's like, okay, anytime you want to play anything, audio or video, from like 1992 and above, download a program called VLC. Victor Lima Charlie, VLC. It's this little cone, and the little cone has all the codecs installed that basically have ever existed for any type of video or audio. And you can play some weird 3GP video from a cell phone in 1993. You can play all these old MP4s or MP3s or MP2s that were out back before MP3s were a thing. You can play all the video files you want. And by just loading up that file, by loading up that program, this person was able to drop their file in and watch their entire engagement with their family, which was pretty cool. So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, well, we're going to go out to the end here. If I missed your call tonight, you can always reach me by email, Luigi, Luigi, at ksqd.org. Remember to tune into the Computer Man Show here every Tuesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on 90.7 FM, K-Squid, KSQD. I'd like to thank all my listeners and my callers. Thank you, Sandy Stone, Harold Fedstein, Rachel Gibby, David Kivett, John Sandage, all Santa Cruz Liquid Tazos, Mr. Gates, Rollins, and of course, the Humble Electron. So we're going to get back here to our Octo Push here in October. We've got the wonderful, amazing Nikki here with us. And also want to give a thank you out to Kathleen, who is my mother, who decided to come and give us an amazing pledge here to KSQD. And you too can do that at 831-900-5773. That's 831-900-KSQD or online at ksqd.org.
And there are many, many ways that you can donate to KSQD. You can even mail us a check. That's old school.
Yeah.
To P.O. Box 5551, Santa Cruz 95063. You can pledge by phone, 831-900-5773. You can go online. Oh, that was one thing I wanted to ask you about this new app.
Yes.
We have a new app.
We do. The Apple Store, the Apple App Store, and the Google Play Store.
And so what does it do for us?
What's great about it is that if you were listening before on your iPhone or your Android phone, you'd have to be listening in a web browser. And when you lock your phone in the web browser, the sound would turn off. Because it doesn't give permissions either through Google Play or through your Apple. And so now with an app, it gives permissions to allow that sound to keep coming. So you can start up the app, read what's going on, lock your phone, and it keeps playing through your volume. You'll be able to do it through Bluetooth, through your headphones, or output to anything else. So it's a more control and allows you to play through like most majority of apps do on your phone now. But before, we just have to be in a web prompt and it would shut off if you locked your phone. So you had to keep your phone screen on. Now,
so
it's
that's
great.
what was wrong.
Yes, and also you can do the Vox Pop feature where you can actually leave us a voice message from the app and we'll receive it here at the station, which is really cool. You can tell us what you love about the station, what you'd like to hear, maybe something you heard on another station you want to hear on our station. You can leave us little messages. It's a really cool thing, and you can also see all of our podcasts as well. So it's a one-stop shop for K-Squid. It's really cool.
That's great. And we're actually asking people to call in via this app.
Yes.
To tell their earthquake stories and memories.
That's right.
Because
yes.
Rachel has a show coming up on Thursday, Talk of the Bay, and it's all about the 35th anniversary of the Loma Prieta earthquake.
Wow.
And we're gathering people's memories and stories.
So
for
cool.
the historical record.
That's so cool. And we now have this new tool through the KSQD app to allow people to do that. Maybe people were a little timid about calling in or didn't know how to use the email thing. Boom, just jump on the app, hit the button, hit start, and we'll get it every time. It's really cool.
And you can help support all these incredible things that are happening, our apps and our equipment upgrades and our towers and our signal that's expanding.
Yes, so cool.
So help us out here. ksqd.org. That's an easy way to do it.
That's right. That's right. You can also give us a call here at 831-900-5773. And of course, if you go online and give through our PayPal Giving Fund, we're getting all of that. We don't have any 3% processing fee. We get it all. So you can feel really good about jumping online to PayPal and jumping on through our website to PayPal and giving through the Giving Fund. It's safe and secure, certified by the Computer Man. Yeah. But we're going to come up here just real shortly here with Bobby B and B in the Night coming up at the top of the hour. And as I always say, jazz is the best thing to let all this computer nonsense ooze out of your ears. So stick around. Jazz is the best. Bobby B with B in the Night coming up. And also it looks like Howard's probably out of the house, but we're going to have a couple other people talk about some of the amazing things here going on at K-Squid. Also, if you haven't jumped on our website, jump on there. We've got it's a cool website in general. There's a lot of things going on just in the community as well as our program schedule and some of the new things. I mean, I discovered a new show the other night. There's this funk show that I'm usually driving for, and I was out of town. I remembered the funk show. I jumped onto the KSQD app, which showed up right in my radio, and I could listen to KSQD while I was 150 miles away in my car based on the app because I had cell phone signal, and I was listening to this really cool funk show that was on the other night. I not only discovered the show through the website, but then was able to use the app, and it also showed me some other shows that I hadn't even seen, and I volunteer here. So it's really cool. You always discover new things, and jump onto our website where you can give securely, and we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. So Bobby B's coming up with B in the Night. I'm going to play a little outro music here, and then we'll jump on with him, and we will see you soon. Again, this is KSQD Santa Cruz, K-Squid, 90.7 FM, and online at ksqd.org. We'll be right back in just a moment.
I am the computer man. I can do anything you can. I am the computer man.